Welcome to Creating Our Relationships. Now in this video, I want to take the dimension tables and the fact tables that we created in the previous couple of videos and actually create the relationships between our tables. And so what I want to do here is I'm in the SQL Server Management Studio. Here is my VTC DW database that we created, and then these are the tables. This is our customer, date, and product dimension tables, and then here's the fact internet sales table. Now the diagramming functionality that's built into the Management Studio in SQL Server 2012 is incredible for doing things like relationships, and that's how I want to set the relationships up between our tables. And so you'll notice right here, let me compress this so you can see it better. There is a database diagrams folder inside the database. Now if I left click on it and highlight it and then right click and choose New Database Diagram, the first time you do this you're probably going to see this message pop up that says the database doesn't have one or more of the support objects required. Do you want to create them to do diagramming? And yes, I do, so I'll just click yes, and it'll take it just a couple of seconds to set that up, and then there I am, I'm into diagramming. Now what I want to do here is add the tables that I want to create the relationships on, and so I'll click add on customer, and then I will click add on date, then I'll add the product dimension table, then I'll do fact internet sales. So I'll add the dim date, and then once that goes in I'll add dim product, and then I will add fact internet sales. Now the diagram is really cool to work in. If you've never used this a whole lot, it's something you really owe it to yourself to get familiar with, because you can do a lot of things here. You can actually change the structure of your tables and your databases and all sorts of things. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of drag this around. As you can see here, you can do the same and kind of follow along. And then using drag and drop we can create a relationship. So I want to show you how to do this. This is a really neat way to visually kind of get this and understand it, and it's a cool way to work with your tables. So notice I've just clicked and dragged these things around. Now keep in mind the fact table, we have a primary key here, but these keys, product key, customer key, and order date, are going to be basically foreign keys out to the primary keys in the dimension tables, right? So what I'm going to do is, for example, on product key, I will left click on the column, and I'll get out here in this little gray square, and I'll left click, hold it down, and just drag over and to product key and let it go, and then it's going to bring up tables and columns. Notice primary key tables, the dimension product table, product key, and the foreign key tables, fact internet sales product key. And I will say OK, and I'll just OK for that. And notice I have a one-to-many relationship now. On the date key, we're going to take the date, and I'm going to join date key to order date, and I'll take an OK on those. And now I have that relationship set up. And then on customer key, we're going to grab this and drag it over to the table, to customer key, and let it go, and that has set up the customer key. And just like that, as you can see, we have relationships built. Now these relationships are built, but they haven't been saved to the database as of yet. So this is diagram 0. I'm going to click to close this, and it says, do you want to save changes to the following items? And I'm going to say yes. What do you want to call this? And I'm just going to call this DW diagram. All right, and then I'll click OK, and this is when it actually tells you it's going to make some changes to these databases and save them. Do you want to do that? And I will say yes, and hopefully I won't get any error messages back. And if that happens, there it goes. All those things were created. Let me pin this back up. Notice I just moused over it, came out here and clicked this push pin, made it vertical, and now that'll stay. And notice now that if I go into tables, for example, the fact internet sales table, and look at the keys now, notice I have my primary key and I have my 3 foreign keys. And for example, if I go into the dim customer and look at the keys, notice I have that primary key there. Okay, so I can see the keys that I have created, and just like that I now have the proper structure for where we're going to start here. Notice if I just double click on this diagram, it'll open it back up and I can look at it and see what's going on. And with this point, we have our structure set up, and now we just need to load some data into these tables. And we will take care of that a little bit later on in the course in some separate videos. So just look for some videos about loading the data, and we'll continue to move through the course. But as for now, we've got our little data warehouse set up. Structurally, we have our tables in place, and now all we're waiting for is some data to go in them.